Hey guys, it's Jimmy here from Transform Your Body, and welcome to day one of your new nutritional approach. And this is exact systems that you need to put in place for you to ensure that you are not just getting lean for a couple of weeks and then stacking it all back on. It's about resetting that baseline, about you becoming the leanest, fittest, strongest versions of yourself, and keeping it for as long as you like, for a lifetime. So have abs not just for a couple of weeks, but you can have them all year round. Now, this is what we need to do first and foremost. Phase one here is the education phase. So up here is the purpose of why we're doing it. This is like what I said in the introduction just then. But also, this education phase is so you get a great understanding of what actually is in the foods that you're eating. And by that, I mean how much of your favorite food is protein, how much of it is carbs, how much of it is fat. And you know what? Carbs aren't necessarily the devil, and neither is fat. You need to maybe some foods that you thought that were not bad are actually quite a lot higher in fat or carbs than you thought. And the opposite could be very true as well. So this is what it's all about. It's a discovery phase, right? And so this is also to improve your relationship with nutrition. I'm not about, as you can tell, I'm not a fan of crash dieting. I'm not a fan of yo-yo dieting or anything like that. I want you to have a good relationship with food so it removes the guilt from dieting. So you can still have literally have your cake and eat it too at times because you know you planned for it, you know that it's come up, and you know exactly what the content is of that instead of just labeling it as bad. Okay? So, and this is where it gets fun too. So, how? Get a pen and paper ready. First and foremost, you need to go to your phone and we're going to download an app called MyFitnessPal if you haven't got it already. Set up an account there. And then now this is where you're going to need your pen and paper and a calculator actually. So you need to have a really good idea of where your body weight is. So if you don't, go and do that now. Pause the video and go and find out what your body weight is. And then what you need to do is you need to times that. So say for example, you weighed 80 kilos, you need to times that by 2.2. And that would be how much you weigh in pounds because all the calculations are going to come off pounds. Now to calculate your daily calorie intake, so this is how much calories you need to eat per day so that you're losing weight, is you need to go off. There's three different tiers that we can go here. The first tier is if you're lightly active, you're not really training at all, maybe doing some, one or two spin classes a week, maybe doing a bit of walking. Like you're not really doing too much. You're not doing really anything too hectic. So what you do is you get that body weight in pounds, that figure that we had from up here, which should be in the hundred and something, maybe. For the guys, you might be in the low 200s sort of mark. You need to times that number by 11. That's going to get you your total amount of calories you need to eat per day. Step two, if you're training with weights, like I'm talking, intense weights training, like what we do at the studio, 2 to 3 times a week, you need to times your body weight by 12. And you can also include on top of that a little bit of walking or, other stuff if you go for bike rides or yoga or anything else like that. So you can do that there. And then highly active is if you've got like, if you're on your feet all day for work and if you're training 4 to 6 times per week with weights, you need to times your body weight by 13. Now this is how much calories you need to eat per day to lose weight. Okay, so now we've got the calorie number. This is where it gets fun though. It's not just about the calories, about how much of that is protein, how much of that is fat, and how much of that is going to be carbs. So these are called your macronutrients. You need to get a good healthy macronutrient split to kick things off. And this is what I recommend. Whatever you weigh in pounds, that is how many grams of protein you're going to eat per day. Fat, now, this is where it can get down to personal preference. If you prefer fattier foods like avocados, eggs, nuts, bacon, like your fattier cuts of meat, things like that, cheeses even, times your body weight in pounds by 0.45. And that's going to equal how much grams of fat you're going to eat per day. Okay, so just don't get too confused by this just yet, just write these numbers down. The next, if you prefer carbs more, times your body weight by 0.35. So that number should be a little bit less than the previous one. And then you write that down. That's how much fat you're going to be eating per day. Okay? And then carbs is whatever is remaining. Now you don't have to figure out a calculation for carbs. It's really easy. All you got to do is go to MyFitnessPal and there'll be a section that says goals, and that's just where you put in your calorie number that we figured out from the step up here. So you type that in, and then there's a section that has protein, fat, and carbs. And you're just going to enter that in. So to be in percentages, it goes by 5% increments. So enter in your protein first, enter in your fat, and then whatever percentage wise you have left to make up to 100% of your calorie is going to be your carbs there for the day. Pretty simple. Now the expectation, this discovery phase is 14 days. So that 14 days is like what I said at the start. Is so you just get a good, healthy relationship with food again. Instead of labeling things as good and bad, you can eat pretty much everything you like as long as you don't have severe allergies or intolerances to it. Um, Within good reason as well. And if it fits within your macronutrient budget, and your budget being how much grams of fat, how much grams of protein, how much grams of carbs you eat per day. So you got that budget, you can pretty much spend that however you like. The goal is to be able to hit those numbers every single day, not go over them, not go under them, to try and hit them within plus or minus 5 grams either side. Cool. This helps you. The first few days, I'm going to tell you, it kind of sucks using the app. It's just like using new technology. If you haven't used it before, you just got to get used to like searching for your foods and entering them in and making sure you know how to do it and make it a habit. It's still it's forming new habits, and that takes a little bit of time. Um, what I will get you to do is to upload the screenshot of your daily totals at the end of every day. And then, yes, it might seem like a lot of food, but this is what your body needs to operate. This is what it needs if you're doing that amount of exercise. Eating less is not better. Eating more is better if it fits in line with what your energy expenditure is. So it helps us retain much of that precious lean muscle tissue, like what I was saying is here, but lose the body fat. So yes, it's going to be a bit of a slower process, but this is step one. Think big grand scheme of things, 22-week cycle to reset your body to be wherever you want it to be. It's basically 6 months down the track, so you can be wherever you want to be all year round, instead of crash dieting, getting there, in 6 weeks, 10 weeks or whatever, and then rebounding right back up. Okay, so guys, get onto that right now. If you've got any questions, just throw them up in the Facebook group. But I'll be back to you soon. Get cracking, and I'll speak to you then.